Hi everyone.
Hey guys.
Today we're going to be talking about first-time home buyers. So we've had a lot of content recently about sellers and just buyers in general, but first-time home buyers in this market, specifically in Northeastern Massachusetts and Southern New Hampshire, have had a hard time trying to get into a home because of the high rates and high prices, which obviously all buyers are faced with. But the challenge with first-time home buyers is that they have not owned a home before, so they don't have equity to fall back on. So if you do have a home and you want to buy a second home, if you've built up equity, which in this area you would have in the last even like 3 years because home prices have gone up drastically, then you're in a pretty good position because you can take the equity out of the home that you're selling and put it towards the next home. But if you're a first-time home buyer, it's a lot harder if you don't have the savings.
Yeah, especially when you consider the prices of houses went up so fast over the last 5-6 years, and salary and income and savings hasn't gone up. So if you weren't already in the real estate market, it is very difficult right now to get your foot in the door. So there are a few things you can do to make it a little bit easier for you. It's not going to be easy, but you can definitely take some of the pressure off.
Yeah, and don't get discouraged. I mean, we do work with first-time home buyers. We actually really like working with first-time home buyers and seeing them be able to get into a home. I was going to say dream home. Probably not going to be your dream home, but
owning a home, my first home was a dream home. So it doesn't matter what it is.
That's true.
You're owning a home, that's your dream home. And then once you own that home, you have another dream home. You never stop having a dream home. So don't say, I need the 4-bedroom, 3.5 bath, 3,000 square foot colonial on a flat acre. That's not everybody's first home.
Yeah.
Find a house you
It
can
wasn't
afford.
our first home.
Yeah, definitely wasn't our first home.
We're still in our first home. So it takes a while.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that first-time home buyers can do to make it easier for them to get into a home?
So the first thing you can do is save. If you are diligent about saving and you want to own a home and you just really step up to the plate and start doing it, that means cutting back in different places. Buying a home is a big sacrifice. So you're probably not going to go to Disney this year. You probably might have to give up on your season tickets to the Bruins or your partial season tickets, or even just going to sporting events because they are big ticket expensive items. You pull back for 1 or 2 years on those few items, you can literally put an extra $5,000 or $10,000 down on a house.
And once you start pulling back on those things, take a step back and think, okay, well, is this a sacrifice that I'm not willing to make? And if it's not a sacrifice you're willing to make, then maybe this is not in the cards for you currently.
Yeah.
And if you just don't want to give up those hobbies or those things that you might spend a lot of money on, then don't feel like you have to own a home. It's not for everybody.
The other thing you can do is you can look at what you're currently paying for bills and price shop it. So we literally just did this.
Yeah.
And we dropped our homeowners insurance and car insurance.
Yep, and car insurance.
And cell phone bill and internet bill.
Yeah.
And we saved, was it $400, $500 a month?
It was probably around $500 or $600 a month. Yeah. When those bills creep up, because usually when you go with a company, after a while you see the bill creep up and creep up. So we got to that point where it's like, this is ridiculous. We have to shop around.
So that's doing two things then. That's increasing our savings because that's an extra $500 a month you can put into savings. More importantly, it's reducing your monthly debt. So when your lender looks at you what they can afford for you to purchase a home, you're now spending $500 less a month. That's $500 more that they see you can put towards a mortgage. So you're going to be approved for a larger mortgage, and it's going to be a little bit easier for you to get a house.
And speaking of debt, another important thing that you can do is pay off your debt as much as possible. So again, that involves cutting a little bit on other things and taking that money to pay off existing debt.
Credit cards is the big one. A lot of people are carrying a lot of credit card debt right now. So if you have 4 or 5 credit cards and they've all got high balances on them, one of the key things you really want to make sure you're doing is you're making sure you get all of those below 50%. So pick one that you can pay off, knock it off, get rid of it, get it paid off, move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Just diligently spend.
Yeah, but definitely prioritize that one because student loans and everything else, they're at a much lower interest rate usually than credit cards.
Yeah, so if you've got debt on credit card, get rid of that debt or get it way, way down. That's going to help you again take care of what's the next step you need to do is you need to get pre-approved. Before you talk to a realtor, before you do anything, you want to talk to a mortgage broker and find out exactly what you can afford. And once you know that, then we can start shaping it around you so we know what we're looking for and what we can put you in.
That brings me to another point. which is look into different programs when you're talking to the lender, see what programs for first-time home buyers they have going on. And also Mass Housing, New Hampshire's housing are good programs for first-time home buyers. There also will be other programs, and different lenders will have different programs. And also keep in mind that the definition of a first-time home buyer is somebody who has not owned a house in the last 3 years. So if you owned a home 3 years ago, but then you rented for 3 years, you are considered a first-time home buyer. So you will still qualify for those programs.
Yeah, and there are a lot of programs out of there, and a lot of them come and go quickly. Massachusetts often has different programs that are going to help with your deposit or help with rate buy-downs. If you don't know what a rate buy-down is, it's if their interest rate is 6.8%, which is what I think we're seeing right now today in a lot of lenders.
Yeah, pretty much.
They'll help you buy it down by paying points to get you to 6.25 or 5.5 or 5.75. So the government has put money aside or allocated money to help you purchase a house. Well, if you can qualify for those programs, jump on them. But the only way you're going to find out if you qualify them is to talk to a lender. I know they exist, but I can't figure out what you can qualify for. So again, happy to put you in touch with a lender if you don't have one, because different lenders have different programs that their bank is involved in. So talk to 2 or 3, find out what the different programs are that are there, and then grab onto what's going to work best for you.
And since we're talking about interest rates, another important thing for you to do is to keep working on your credit. So you will get the best interest rate if your credit is high. So the higher your credit, the better the interest rate is going to be. First of all, find out what your credit score is, and then see if you need to improve it and what you can do to improve it. Keep paying your bills, make sure that you're not late on any bills, keep improving your credit score if it's an issue, and that's going to get you the best interest rate when you're ready to buy.
And if you happen to be in the odd situation where you have 0 credit, you have to start building that credit. And there's a few different ways you can do it. You can get a low balance credit card, and every month you just put the gas of your car on it and you pay it off every month, and you just show the ability to pay these bills. That's going to help build credit. Sometimes just getting a department store credit card. Be careful, they have incredibly high interest rates, but almost all of them, if I'm not mistaken, maybe all of them, you can purchase at the register, say, all right, I'm getting this jacket, I'd like to put it on my Macy's card, and then as soon as you're done purchasing it, you say, great, I would like to pay off my Macy's card. Right there at the register, you can pay it off.
At least you were able to a few years ago. I ran into a few issues with that. Definitely check if you can do that, but that's a good way
But there are different ways of going around it. So long as you don't carry a balance on that card, you're showing the ability to pay the bills, and that's what they want to see, and that'll help build your credit really quickly.
And even carrying balance is not a bad idea once or twice, but definitely pay it off as quickly as you can, because it also shows the ability to carry a balance and also pay it off.
Yeah, and once you've had the ability to pay off the credit card, they're going to get that first card they give you. It's going to have a $500 balance or a $1,500 balance. You've had it for a year or 2, call them up and say, hey, I'd like to increase my balance. They're going to look at it, and then they're going to say, sure, and they're going to approve you for $5,000 or $10,000. What that'll do is, if you're carrying $500 on the credit card and you have a $1,000 credit line, you're eating up half of what you're allocated for, and they don't like to see that. Whereas if you get them to increase that limit to say 5,000, you're still carrying that same 500, your credit score goes up.
Yeah, because it shows that you're using a smaller percentage of your available credit.
Yeah, it's no sense to me why that improves your credit, but it does. So there's a lot of different things you can do to improve your credit and improve it quickly.
Yeah, you're still spending the same amount, but it's a smaller portion of your line of credit, so they like seeing that.
We've gotten you talked to a lender, we've gotten you pre-approved, we got your credit squared away. There's a few other things you can do to make yourself a little more attractive when you're putting that offer in. That way you can be the offer that gets accepted. At least here where we are, we're still occasionally seeing multiple offer situations, especially on high demand houses, which are the ones that are a little more affordable and closer to move-in ready. So those homes they're still getting 2, 3, 4 offers. If you happen to run into a situation like that, there's a lot of different things you can do to make your offer look more attractive. One of them would be pointing out, just a simple thing like pointing out to the listing agent, having your agent say, hey look, I know we're obviously including the buyer's commission in here, but pay attention to the fact that we're putting in a 2.5% and our price that we're putting in is X. So yes, we're 2.5 and the other guy's 2, but we're paying a little bit more, and have them point out what the net proceeds are going to be from that sale, because a lot of buyers or a lot of sellers, they might not realize which offer is going to be the better offer. And if you point out what the net sale is, the net profit is on that, that might be the thing that makes it a little more attractive for them. Or doing little things like saying, we're still doing a home inspection, because I always recommend doing a home inspection, but I'm capping it saying it's for repairs of $5,000 or more. So they know you're not worried about the window that doesn't work, or the squeaky stairway, or the loose handrail, or the electric outlet that has to be swapped out. You're concerned about roof, heating system, foundation, and electric panel. Like you're concerned about the big ticket items.
Yeah.
And that's going to help make your offer, again, there's a lot of things you can do to just make your offer look a little bit more attractive.
And another thing you can do to make your offer look more attractive is to increase the down payment.
Yeah.
So sellers like seeing that because you're more likely to get the mortgage compared to other people who are, let's say, putting down 3% or even 5%. If you can put down 10 or 20% or even 15%, you're in a much better situation. The higher you go, the better, because your offer looks more attractive. Another thing that I can think of, compromise on the type of home that you're looking for. Maybe you can't afford a single family home as your first home. Well, think about maybe getting into a condo or even a multifamily and living in one unit and renting out the other, or buying a generational home with other members of the family. You know, I know this is not an ideal situation, but let's say with your parents, if you have elderly parents, ideally a home that is also a multifamily home and part of your family lives in one unit and you live in another unit and you share the costs.
Yeah, and I'm seeing more and more of my clients where the parents are getting older and they're aging out of the house they're in, and the kids don't want to take over the house and move in with the parents. But I am seeing a lot of my clients, and when I say a lot, like 2 or 3 a year, where the kids are purchasing a house with their parents. So they're selling the parents' house. That's helping with the deposit on the next house. They're purchasing the house together. So the parent is bringing the cash, but they're retired. And then the child is bringing the revolving credit or the revolving income. So they have cash flow coming in, which the lender likes to see. And now they're working together as a team, and they're able to get possibly a house with an in-law, or possibly a house with
a multifamily
home
where you live in one unit, they live in the other unit. I think that's probably the best case scenario because you don't want to be living on top of each other.
No, I loved Mom.
You did, yeah. No, I loved my mom too, but I just would not want to live with my parents. Not in the same living space.
Not in the same living room, and not in the same kitchen.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so that's an option. So multi-generational homes. I understand part of it's going to be cultural, part of it's going to be, you know, what you want to do, and some of us don't want to live with our parents at all, so that's not going to be an option. And if that's not the option,
but maybe with your siblings. Again, you're sharing the costs. That's the whole idea. Also, buying a multifamily home and renting out one unit to a stranger. Again, you're sharing the costs. Basically, they're probably going to be covering your mortgage if you do that.
Yeah, if you do it right.
Or most of it.
Most of it. Another one of my favorites, is a fixer-upper.
Which is what we did when we bought our home.
Yeah, so if you have any skill set at all where you can add value to the house, whether if it's just doing paint or refinishing floors, or if it's something a little more in depth like putting in kitchen cabinets and appliances, or, you know, swapping out windows. Maybe you know how to do a roof, so you're going to put in a new roof on the house. Or you've got the capital, you buy the house that is distressed, you're typically going to buy it for under market value, and you've got the capital to invest back into it. So even if you're hiring somebody else out to do it and you're not doing it yourself, you're getting the house you wanted in the neighborhood you wanted that nobody else wanted to buy because it needed everything. 6 months or 12 months later, you've got the house you wanted and it's brand new.
Really good way of doing that. The second you move in, you're building equity.
Yeah, from day one.
And right now in this area, equity builds up pretty fast. So before you know it, you've made like $100,000 on your house, and then you can move up from there and buy your next house.
And just so you know, before you know it is not 6 months. Before you know it is a couple years down the road. It happens fast, but it doesn't happen overnight. Yeah. And then when it happens and you sit back and look at it, you're like, holy crap, my house is worth what?
Yeah.
You know,
it's a great that's feeling. What's happened to a lot of people who bought their homes 5 years ago, because home values went up so much in this area that suddenly they have like 40% equity from 5 years ago.
Another thing you can really do is sort of widen the search. All right, okay, yes, you really want to live in Reading. Well, North Reading is selling for $50,000 or $70,000 less. It's the next town over. So you're going to get the benefit of being able to hang out in downtown Reading and do whatever you want there, but you're just 10 minutes further up the road. You're in the area you want to be in. You're still just as close as you were to work, but you're in a town where you spent $75,000 less on the exact same house.
Yeah.
So that can be a way to go. Or you can widen the search significantly and just say, you know what, we work from home, don't need to be close to the city or don't need to be close to the office. Let's go 45 minutes north into New Hampshire, just because we're not worried about commuting. Now we're able to buy significantly more house with a much larger lot, and you're paying less. Where you live really affects the cost.
So that's pretty much all we had to cover for today's video. Let us know if you have any questions. The information will be in the video, and we'll talk to you in the next one.
Looking forward to talking to you in the next video.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.